Welcome. It's so good to be sitting with you today. We recognize that on the planet, this is the holiday called Easter, talking about death and rebirth and resurrection. And we want to use that model in some of what we know we want to share with you. So this is Sananda, and I'll be here until somebody else says it's my turn and taps me on the shoulder. You know, in that story of the resurrection and Easter, etc., there's a tomb. And in the tomb, it's like a cave with a rock in front of it, and it's dark. And it feels like there's no light. It feels like there's very little, if any, breath. And sometimes it was preceded by some suffering of some kind. The suffering, the darkness, sometimes the fear with that and the hopelessness in that, I think you can relate to. And I don't know if that's spoken enough for you to go like, oh, okay, I'm in the tomb right now. Or, okay, the suffering is about letting go of something. And it may not be your life, but something's being called for to let go of. And you don't have to be put on a cross to make that happen. All of these things that we have in these story myths can have relevance in your life. And I think right now, I want to acknowledge that the way the planet is moving through the solar system, with the way that the major constructs, planets, etc., in the sky are, and how it's impacting Earth and you personally. You may be going through a period of suffering. What do I have to let go of? It may not even be in your mind, but maybe you want to think about that. What is it that I need to let go of because I'm holding on? An expectation, maybe an expectation you've put on yourself or someone else has put on you. Make it conscious. Letting go is definitely part of the process right now, not so that you can be entombed, but so that you can rise differently. We often forget that what the stories we tell, the traditional stories, the myth stories, wherever they come from, are all stories that occurred not as a reflection of Earth mission, but as a reflection of what outsiders' presence has done to the different ethnic groups in those past times, that has created and did create in those times violence, torture, so certainly targeting of women, but using men's bodies to hurt women. You know, our myths are all about that. And so looking for the thread of light of Earth mission in it is really important. Do you have to go through suffering and being entombed in order to rise? No. No. Right now is a really good time to identify all that you have gathered for whatever reason and from whatever source that tells you you're not enough, you will never do it, you are all alone, you're not worth anything. That absolutely, no, that is absolutely that voice residue, habitual pattern thinking imposed upon you as a soul in earth mission by those whose agendas is to destroy you or limit you or cause your lack. So how quickly can you move them off? See what's in your toolbox, really. Because we are here to say, you are such a magnificent light being that we want to just lift you with us. And it's not our job to decide for you what labels you put on yourself. That's not our job. We are here to constantly be a stream of light and love and encouragement and breath for you. And that is your constant. That is who you are. You're in this developed world, quote unquote, in which being isn't enough. Who's going to pay your bills if you're being? You know, there's so much that is crumpled and crooked and contaminated and untrue. How much time can you spend with us, with yourself, in the being you of light, and breathe in the stability, beauty, I'm beauty. I'm joy. I'm a part of a community of collective abundance and love. Then what you choose to do with that energy is what you design and create. So often, being on the busy treadmill has become the norm. And looking for the money from the treadmill has become the norm. What we would like to suggest is that your outcome, you're designing entirely new models in which your divine family of origin, richness, inheritance is formed through you in total resourced competent, receptive community of stability and thriving and resource. You don't know what that looks like. But that's what we would wish for you, is that you so love your family of origin, divine family of origin, that you relax into their arms and say, how would you like to see through my eyes this life? How would you like to create through my hands this life? How would you like to interact with others in this life? You are an ambassador. And it has been eons and eons of time since that, really never on the planet, now that I think about it. When you first came, your divine families were so tied up, you know, it was only a thread of your light coming through that you could be an ambassador. But now that we have cleared and unified those in the seventh world, the opportunity for that energy to flow from your family, to be expressed and formed through you for their experience, for your experience. What is it you want from that? It's never been possible before. And then what comes up that says, you can't, it won't work, you don't know enough. Know where that comes from. Bring them in, your family in, bring PTOs in, bring the ancient ones within in, and say, blast that. That's no longer my life. That's no longer what I have in my life. It's not acceptable. And clear that stream for you specifically. I know you as a group are doing it for the world. You're doing it for community. You're doing it for others. And that's great, because we need it. But what about now, maybe for the next week or two or three, making it about your flow from divine family, your communication to your divine family. What is it that you love, and what is it that excites you? And check with them, and what would they like to experience more, and begin to build that clarity between you as the ambassador back to the family of how to take what you have experienced. How would that form in a way that would be expansive? Yes, because you are on the planet, there needs to be stability. How can you work together in a different way? So much suffering has been going on because of the intensity to which outsiders have created, they've used the law to create situations that say, you're too little, you're not enough, it'll never work. I mean, they have been intense in that. And it's time for us to say, enough. We recognize you right away, enough. I'm going to go back to Ukraine just for a moment. And the cry from the president of Ukraine says, close our skies so these planes can't get in. Close these skies so the planes can't get in. Close your skies. Close your skies. It says, this is me, this is my family, this is my land, my home, this is my world right here. This is my Ukraine. I know you do the fourfold, and that's really valuable, but close the skies, prevent any type of outsider, and proactively eliminate. Quickly, close the skies. My family, my community, my life is a sovereign space in which divine good is all that exists. And then what do you do? What is divine good for you? What does it feel like, taste like, smell like? Then you know that anything that isn't that, I've had enough, gone. Not acceptable, PTO remove. And then start asking the questions to your family. What do you want to experience through me? How do you want me to look this way so you can see that, or that way? They can see through you, they can feel through you. And together there's a strength that hasn't been possible. Recruit them to be proactive in closing your skies. Let them participate in ways they've never been able to. Send them out with the message you have as a family to attract and bring to you those that are looking for exactly what it is you are being and broadcasting. We've never been able to use our family in that way before. What can they impact in those worlds beyond Earth? Because you're holding a stand uniquely and they're connected to you. What are you guys doing up there in the sixth world? What does it look like over there in the seventh? Filling yourself up with your family's inheritance, and then watch how it shows up. It will come unformed. It will come in energy, ideas, feelings, emotions, sensations. And then write the stories about what you want the form to look like. Do you want the form to be in resource way? Do you want it to be in the form of people who play together and exchange together and expand each other? Do you want it to be in a way that your vibrations go out and you get all these twinkly lights turned on that go like, man, I love what you're doing, and that's all you get, but it's enough? It's time to begin to think about shedding as quickly and deeply and effortlessly as you can what isn't divine good, what isn't your family. And not get stuck, as sometimes we have, certainly in the past, in that fear, the anxiety, the I never work, all those voices that are not of your family voice. So they're not true voices to you, but they have been so much a part of our survival here on the planet. When you resurrect, we'll use that term, when you resurrect, when you lift to a higher vibrational place, there's a lot of the heavier vibrations that won't go with you because they can't. They're too heavy. They're too heavy. They're too dense. And if you have a tentacle connected to any of that heaviness, what tool do you have to quickly plug it out? What team do you have that will quickly plug it, remove it out, and heal it? to rise new on this planet. Not because you've died and the body's gone and therefore you're in a different place, but because you have rolled away the stone, if you will, to your sight, that everything's dark and limited and ugly, rolled away the stone, which you all have, to look out and say, there's the sunrise in this body. And I'm walking to the top of the hill and I'm ambassadoring my family light of love or of joy or of peace or of intuition or of curiosity into this new plateau, this place. And I am seeding this new place where my family helps me till the soil, plant the seed, waters, takes delight in this new garden, this new world. That's what we're encouraging for you. You know, I think you have enough awareness and enough experience and tools, etc., that any tug down in the heavier regions, you will know what to do with. Any of those in your world that are still holding some of those patterns, you know what to do with for their benefit, and still stay on the ridge, still stay with your family, still planting and growing new. And what will that look like? And who will you have in your world to share and say, I didn't ever know that this plant would grow in my garden and it's growing. I had never thought that this idea would have value and it's selling. You know, you want that too. You want that kind of a community that's going like, whoa, go for it. And you can say, this is what I'm getting from my family, you know, rising together, learning together, flying off and coming back is really important too. And that's what you've done as you've gathered over the many years here. These are the ones, if you look around, any of these women would say, oh, I love what you're doing, and would love to hear what you're doing. So Star is wanting to just affirm to you. Sananda's been speaking because we wanted this message given to you, but I represent your divine families. And we have never been able to experience what we can experience now with you. We have never been able to do that. We have been so locked up and tied up and discounted and cut off, and we haven't had the experience that we know we can have with you. Most of us have never been in a physical body. Most of us have been tending the fires, healing the wounds, keeping stuff hidden because it was too big. Most of us have had jobs in the unseen world beyond Earth. And so we couldn't, our job wasn't to go with you onto the planet. We are so grateful that you volunteered as a representative from our family, from your family, to do the jobs that you've been doing hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years on the planet, to reach this point that we didn't know would take so long. But in that process, we have been freed in ways we had hoped for, but never knew didn't know if we would make it or not. So we are freed in ways that takes us back to our beginnings, really takes us back to the original reason that we extended from home. And so we hold that excitement with you and for you. We hold that excitement of what would joy taste like? What would love look like? What would curiosity feel like? We want to be with you in that experience because that expands us, it expands you. So when you have a taste of something good, hold it, call us in and say, come on closer, feel it with me. We've never been able to do that. When you look out and see something beautiful in your world, hold it and say, okay, family, come in, look through my eyes and see what energy looks like on this planet. Let us participate with you, not just for you, but for us. We won't ever be in a physical body like you. Oh, we would so love for you to remember we're here, and that smell, have us smell it, that taste, have us taste it with you. We are resurrecting our entire galactic family life stream from the tombs of entrapment. That's what's happening. And it's not about struggle anymore. It's about rolling away the stone and say, the light has been there all along. And those who put the stones in place, be gone, done enough, not acceptable, deep six. And then let us be with you. We would so love it. And we'd love to listen in if you decide to have conversations about those experiences as you share with each other. So much still yet to be chosen, designed, and created. You might feel that you've just gone to the end as much as you can go. This is the end of the whole thing. And what we're telling you is breathe. That's been in the suffering in the tomb. Let go of it. Roll away that stone. Climb the hill and look out at the new vista. And let's see what we can do together. Of course, Tesla is going like, yes, I'm with you on this one. So many. So until next week, that's our encouragement for today. And know that you are loved, you are beyond capable, and we have just begun. We have just begun just to think about what could be possible. So much love. And until we meet again.